made by marketers is moving towards more interactive and accountable channels. As a result of this, we are starting to see the culmination of a slow migration over the last 5 years of ad spend from above the line to below the line. Morne Fourie, Managing Director for 34, is here to answer the questions. Is this the year of below the line agency? Thank you so much for joining us. What do you agree with this statement?
We'd love to agree with this statement because we're a specialist below the line shop, so that is what we do. And I think the more focus and the more better people can understand below the line and really what it's about, the better for our consumers, the better for our brands. Definitely.
So are you seeing a whole lot more agencies coming on board and becoming below the line agencies?
That's quite an interesting one because South Africa has no shortage of agencies. Everyone in their dog, as we can kind of call it, has got a little web shop in their backyard and does 3 websites a year and call themselves an agency, and most of them would fall in the below the line category. So there's no shortage of agencies. I think the bit that we're fighting for, if we can almost call it that, the below the line gospel we're spreading is for what we call strategic below the line. And there's a very big difference. We say you've got to be able to build brands while you're selling stuff. We're in the business of selling stuff. That is what we do from the morning till the night. But we've got to be able to say, what is my impact on the brand over the longer term? I'm not just flogging something quickly. I'm not just trying to make a quick buck for my clients on the side, because then it's easy. Let's just halve the price, stack them high, and watch them fly out the door. That's not the idea for below the line. So I think it's about properly considered below the line, strategic below the line that's based on what we call the insights at the point where the product is purchased. Once you get to that point and you start building up your plans, your touch points, your interventions, how am I going to, as a brand, talk to my consumers? How am I going to engage them at this level? That's where proper strategic below the line comes to its own, and that's really what we believe in and what we do.
I mean, how effective is it compared to your above the line advertising?
Our business is flying, and it's kind of, if that's a judge that there is a big gap in the market on the one side, but also that we're pressing the right buttons with marketers. I mean, I always want to take one step back there, is marketers have been questioning this for a long time. The FD sits next to the marketing director in the boardroom and says, well, what did you do with the money that I gave you? The MD turns around and says, well, guys, we had this beautiful TV ad. Where's the sales? And that has been going for way too long. So there's a big boardroom pressure that has brought a lot of this on. If we look at the international markets, UK, US, about 70% of the entire marketing spend is downstream or towards the point of purchase environment. That's very different to South Africa. We are a very traditional market, and with traditional marketing we're talking about television, radio, print, outdoor. Those were the kind of stalwarts. That's what advertising is built on. So there's a very big shift away from that because people are saying, where's my return? Where's my money? What did I get for it? So you can't really compare it head to head. But on the other hand, it comes from the same part. So for as long as it comes from the same part, next year, I mean, what we've seen inside our clients, even since we've been engaging with them, the recession's been tough. The recession has actually been remarkably good for our business because, ironically enough, people are saying, well, cool, let's take an example. Last year I had a 10 million rand marketing budget. During the period, it was cut to a 9 million rand marketing budget, but traditionally, I used to spend 60–70% of my budget on television, on radio, on above the line. That all now gets cut, so you're now with 9 million, but now all of a sudden, half of it you're spending in your sales stream, in your, what we call creating a demand. And all of a sudden, you've got 4.5 million rand on above the line and 4.5 million rand on below the line, and then it's a serious threat for below the line. So for above the line, excuse me. So there's a very big interaction between the two. But we're not saying, and I think this is quite important as a business, we're definitely not going out and saying that above the line advertising, traditional advertising is dead. It isn't. You need the brand building ad. You need the things that stir the heartstrings. You need the things that make a brand appear bigger than what it is. But the idea of bad ads and the concept of an ad that's not performing, that's out the window. Because there's just so many other options for the marketer to take up, and so many other ways. Your social medias, your engagement marketing, your proper use of direct and mobile phones. Oh my goodness. as an interaction tool. Incredible.
And Marion, what is your opinion on below the line advertising?
Well, I'm so excited listening to you, and I find it very interesting. I mean, not everyone in South Africa, of course, has a PVR option. But I know from myself and a lot of my friends and colleagues that when the ads go on TV, we just through them.
Exactly.
If you go into a supermarket and point of sale, for instance, there's a promotion, or somebody comes up to you in a supermarket, it's in your face, but I think it's more tangible. And I can see below the line growing, because I know it was always the poor brother of above the line, and it was always looked down upon.
Yeah. I
think it's very exciting, and I think what you've said is so important. I think the cell phone, the viral ads, what would you say about that? I mean, I think that's got to have a huge impact.
It is massive. I mean, for us, the exciting bit is where we get to sit at the top table, as we call it, where the big advertising people get to speak to the client. And traditionally, below the line was the poor cousin. It was the one that just doesn't get to be part of those discussions. And we're having the sales engagements with our clients now at a top level. And what you can do, I mean, firstly, you can stretch your money just so much further. And I'm not saying pump your entire money into social media, for example, although that's a key component and a key channel. We've just dealt with one of the major dairy brands in the country and working with their product. And for them, in the younger market, that's a way consumers want to talk to you. And consumers have got, we believe, this desire, as they talk to their friends, as they talk to their mates, they own the brands. Time has already called it. Everyone has looked at it. Everyone knows that it's not the brand company that owns the brand. It's the consumers. And below the line is spot in the middle position to be able to engage with that, because that's what it is.
It's never been sexy before. Now you can actually make it sexy.
Well, you can make it sexy, but your good old fundamentals is also there. A properly run sales promotion with a good carrot where people are excited and it's communicated to me when I am buying my beer, when I'm buying my beverage, when I'm whatever else. There's a level where the consumer says, well, okay, do you know what? You see me. You know where I'm at, and I'd love to talk back to you. Yes, and the response we've seen in some of our campaigns when we open those channels for people to engage has been phenomenal.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Morne. Thank you for being our guest host, Marion.